She should have seen it coming. The way he started pulling away. The late nights. The scent that wasn't hers. But when your heart is wrapped around someone like ivy on stone, you ignore the cracks until everything crumbles. Her name was Lyra, an omega, born to nothing, raised by no one. Just another invisible girl in a pack that never saw her. But he did. Kale. A beta with a smile too perfect and words too smooth. He made her feel like she mattered, like she was more than her rank, more than her scars. For a while, she believed it, until the night everything broke. It was supposed to be a celebration, his promotion, his rise in the beta ranks. She showed up early, carrying a gift she couldn't afford and a heart too full. She never made it through the door, because there, under the pale moonlight, tangled in laughter and lust, was Kale with Celine. Highborn, alpha-blooded, everything Lyra was not. Their eyes met. Kale didn't flinch. He laughed. Celine wrapped herself around him like a trophy, like she'd won. And then she looked Lyra dead in the eyes and said, "Did you really think someone like him would choose someone like you?" The laughter that followed was worse than claws, worse than any shift. Lyra didn't cry, not then. She turned, walked, her feet numb, her heart a howl she couldn't release. But the forest doesn't forget pain. The wolves feel everything, and someone else heard her silence. That night, she ran deeper than she ever had, past the pack borders, into lands whispered about in fear. The trees grew thicker, the air colder, and then, the scent. It hit her like thunder, power, raw, unyielding, alpha. Not from her pack, not from any pack she knew. She should have turned back. But something, no, someone, was already watching. Eyes like frost, a presence like winter. He stepped out from the shadows, taller than any wolf she'd seen. His aura made her knees buckle. But he didn't speak. He just offered his hand. And for some reason, she took it. Because what do you have to lose when everything's already been taken? What Lyra didn't know was that this stranger wasn't just any alpha. He was cursed, exiled, and hunting for something far more dangerous than revenge. He brought her to a place no Omega was meant to see, through wards older than the packs, into ruins that whispered secrets in her bones. He didn't tell her his name, but that night, he cooked for her. He gave her shelter. And when she finally broke, when the tears came like a storm, he listened. No judgment, no pity, just quiet understanding. She asked him why he helped her. He said, "Because you didn't scream when you saw me." That's when she noticed the scars, deep, jagged, the kind that don't heal, even for wolves. He wasn't just exiled, he was hunted, and she was now in his world. But back in the pack, Kale wasn't celebrating anymore. Celine had what she wanted, but Kale? He couldn't stop thinking about Lyra. She'd vanished. No one knew where. And something about that started to itch under his skin. Because the thing about betas like Kale, they don't like when the toys they break disappear. Meanwhile, Lyra was changing. Not just healing, growing. The alpha, still nameless, trained her. Not like a soldier, like a survivor. He taught her how to move without sound, how to track by scent alone, how to fight dirty, and slowly, how to believe she was more than anyone ever told her. But the bond between them? That was something neither of them saw coming. They were opposites. She was light, he was shadows. But when she looked at him, she didn't see the monster the world feared. She saw a man who never flinched when she was at her lowest. And he saw something even rarer, hope. But nothing stays hidden forever, because one night while training, Lyra shifted, and something went wrong. Pain ripped through her. Her eyes glowed, not omega gold, not beta brown. Alpha Silver. The cursed Alpha froze. He stared at her like she was a ghost. Because the last time he saw that color, it was on the wolves who destroyed his family. The truth shattered the calm they'd built. She wasn't just an Omega. She had Alpha blood. Buried, hidden. Why? Who kept it from her? And worse, what did it mean? Open loops are twisting now. Was her whole life a lie? And who exactly was this Alpha stranger? Because the moment Lyra's blood awakened, so did something far darker. And it was coming for them both. But none of that mattered in that moment. Because when she collapsed, trembling from the shift, he caught her, held her, and whispered the name he hadn't spoken in years. Not hers, his. Ronan. The cursed Alpha had a name, and history was about to repeat itself, unless they broke it first. But before they could decide what they were to each other, the hunters arrived. And they weren't from any pack Lyra had ever seen. They came without warning. No scent, no sound, only silver-tipped arrows slicing the night. Ronan grabbed Lyra before the third one landed. His body moved like instinct, like war. They ran. Through trees that once whispered secrets, now screaming danger. Lyra struggled to keep up, her limbs still trembling from the shift. But she didn't stop. She couldn't. Behind them, the hunters closed in. Not wolves, not human. Something in between. And they weren't after Ronan. They wanted her. They reached an old cavern sealed with runes only Ronan could read. He pressed his hand to the stone. It peeled open like breath. Inside, dark, cold, safe. For now. Lyra collapsed. Who are they? Ronan hesitated. Then, they work for the council. Lyra blinked. The High Council? I thought they were dead. I did too. But they weren't. Ronan told her everything. His exile, his pack wiped out, not by rogues but by command. His father had found something the council wanted hidden. A prophecy. Of a wolf born with Alpha blood masked as Omega. One who could break the hierarchy and rebuild everything. They feared her before she was even born. Lyra wasn't just betrayed. She was the prophecy. She laughed, bitter. That's impossible. I'm no one. Ronan stepped closer. No, you're the one. But Lyra didn't want destiny. She just wanted the pain to stop. The memory of Kale's laugh, Celine's smirk, her own reflection that never looked strong enough. But the world didn't care. Back in the pack, Kale was unraveling. Celine had gained the status she wanted, but Kale kept staring at the empty space Lyra once filled. He smelled her everywhere. Kale wasn't just a beta. He was meant to be Alpha, until something at birth went wrong. Something no one spoke of. Now the Alpha scent on Lyra made his blood boil. If she had it, maybe it had always been hers. Maybe what he held had never belonged to him. Celine saw his confusion and made a call, to the council. She told them Lyra was alive. Lyra was in her way. Back in the cavern, Ronan trained Lyra harder, to block pain, to fight blind, to outthink hunters stronger than her. Something shifted between them, in the way he watched her, in the way she traced the scars on his chest like constellations. One night, after a brutal session, she whispered, "Why haven't you kissed me?" His jaw tightened. "If I do, I won't stop." She touched her forehead to his. "Then don't." The cold cave became a sanctuary, a promise. They didn't speak of love, they didn't need to. But peace never lasts. By morning, Ronan was gone. Only a single symbol carved into stone remained. Lyra didn't know it, but her blood did. It burned. She followed it through the woods to the ruins. There she found Ronan, on his knees, bleeding, surrounded. Kale stood over him, sword drawn, smiling. You thought you could hide her? Celine stepped out. Prophecy belongs to those strong enough to control it. Lyra's rage was cold, sharp. She stepped forward, not like an Omega, not like a Beta, like an Alpha. Kale's smirk faltered. You're not strong enough. But Lyra wasn't alone. She shifted, faster than ever, silver eyes blazing. The battle erupted. Ronan rose beside her, 2 against many. Wolves don't break. They bleed. They bite. They remember. Lyra fought like she was born for it, because she was. She struck Celine, shattering bone. Kale lunged. She was quicker. She pinned him, claws to his throat. Please, Lyra. She saw the fear she once carried. She didn't kill him. You don't get to matter anymore, she said, turning away. Kale screamed, unheard by the forest. Lyra had finally earned it. But the war wasn't over. Celine had vanished. The council had lost their secret. They wouldn't stop until Lyra was dead. Or crowned. The forest was quiet again. Too quiet. Ronan leaned against a tree, blood dripping from his shoulder. He was smiling, not because the battle was over, but because of her. Lyra. She stood in the clearing like the storm had chosen her. Not a girl, not an Omega, an Alpha reborn. But victory always comes with a cost, and the council wasn't done. Far from it. That night, as Lyra and Ronan buried the past, literally and metaphorically, he told her the truth, the full truth, about how his father died protecting a scroll, a prophecy written in blood. He never read it, but the council had, and they feared it because it didn't just predict her rise, it predicted their fall. Lyra was the first of many. There were others like her, scattered, hidden, suppressed, Omegas with dormant alpha blood. And the council had spent generations hunting them, silencing them, until now. Because one had survived, and she'd awakened. But if Lyra wanted to protect them, if she wanted to rewrite the order, she had to do more than survive. She had to lead. Ronan warned her, the moment she stepped into that role, there would be no going back, no hiding, no peace. But Lyra didn't hesitate. Then we make them see us. They began gathering the forgotten, the broken, the outcasts. One by one, wolves who'd been cast aside joined them. Betas, Omegas, even a few alphas who'd seen through the lies. They trained in the old ruins, built a new code, not based on blood, but choice. And then a message arrived, sealed in wax, marked with the council's crest. It read, "Cease, or we erase you." Lyra burned it. Then she howled, not in fear, but in challenge. It echoed across the lands, and the packs heard it. Some answered, some turned away, but the council? They prepared for war. Celine returned to them, wounded, humiliated, but useful. She knew Lyra's mind, her heart, and she knew the one weakness the council could exploit, Ronan. Because while Lyra's power was ancient, her love was new and fragile. So they set a trap, a village on the outskirts, burning, children screaming. Ronan and Lyra arrived together. Too late. The village was ash, but one scent remained, Celine's, and a message carved into the stone. Come alone, or he dies. Lyra didn't wait. She kissed Ronan once, deeply, then drugged his drink. He never saw it coming. Her goodbye was written in the dirt beside him. I'm ending this. The next night, Lyra walked into the council's stronghold, alone. No weapons, no backup. Her power humming beneath her skin. The elders sat on thrones of bone, Celine beside them, Kale, chained and broken, on the floor. They laughed when they saw her. "You think you can change centuries of order with a howl?" Lyra smiled. "No." And then she shifted, not into the wolf they remembered, but something more. Her fur shimmered like moonlight on steel. Her eyes burned with the fire of every wolf who'd been silenced. And from the shadows, the others arrived. Dozens, hundreds. Every wolf she'd saved, every outcast who believed. They surrounded the stronghold. The council had numbers, but Lyra had something more dangerous: loyalty. The final battle wasn't clean. It was chaos. Blood, fire, bone. Celine tried to run. Lyra chased her, cornered her. "You never wanted him," Lyra said. "You just didn't want me to have anything." Celine hissed. "You think you're better than me?" Lyra stepped forward. "No, I know I am." And with that, she ended it. No more lies, no more games. When the dust settled, the council was gone, the throne destroyed, and in its place, something new. Months passed. The world didn't change overnight, but it changed. Wolves began choosing their paths, titles no longer given by blood, but earned. And Lyra? She stood at the center of it all, not as queen, not as ruler, but as alpha of the free. And Ronan? He woke in the ruins, furious at first, but when he found her again, standing beneath the full moon, her hand outstretched, he took it. Because she hadn't just changed the world, she'd changed him. Their love wasn't easy, it wasn't soft, it was forged in fire, but it was real, and it was theirs. One night, as they lay beneath the stars, Lyra whispered, "Do you think they'll ever try to take it back?" Ronan kissed her shoulder. "If they do, let them try." Because this time, she wouldn't run, she wouldn't break, she wouldn't beg, she'd lead, and the world would follow, or fall. Because the girl they laughed at, she became the wolf they'd never forget. And this time, she was laughing last. If you felt that shift, that deep burn of justice and love, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and tell us in the comments, what would you do if you were born to be forgotten, but destined to rise?